Okay, Deaf Ears 2 is the new album from Lux Interna, Wilderness Gospels.
By all accounts, I'm a metal girl. The heavy is where I live, where I gravitate towards, what vibrates in my chest. It's my wheelhouse. But something in these gothy, windswept tracks from Lux Eterna found an echo in my dome dark heart. So I chose to dive into a very different kind of album. What happens when the song of the world begins to slip into static? When the maps fail and the familiar trails vanish? These are the questions Lux Eterna poses on their Bandcamp page. And perhaps New Wilderness Gospel doesn't answer them so much as it summons deeper, more paradoxical ones. After 12 years of silence, the band returns with their fourth full-length album, and it's less a collection of songs than a ritual of reckoning. Lux Eterna, Latin for internal light, may be casting just that into the shadowy fog of our modern condition. These are times, after all, when, as Yeats warned, the falcon can no longer hear the falconer. Wilderness here feels like a call to step away from our digital entrapments, to return to the natural world and confront our own humanity without a filter.
9 tracks, mostly in the arty, unhurried, take your time for maximum expression range of 6 to 8 minutes. They are not here to preach salvation. They offer a space for reflection, for dissent, and even for transformation. Steeped in gothic Americana and laced with a subtle thread of psychedelia, the album sounds like it was written in a mountain cabin under siege by storms, which, fittingly, it was. This is a ritual, a requiem, a rebirth, and it's a haunting one. The nearly 9-minute opener, Dark Fire Revelator, sets the tone with a sweeping vision of destruction and prophecy. Rapid-fire guitar flickers like nervous thoughts, pensive, anxious, electric, when Chris Force's violin cuts across them in long, graceful strokes, offering moments of eerie calm. Joshua Levi Ian's full-bodied baritone channels the weight and drama of a young Nick Cave, grounding the chaos with gravitas. Catherine Ian enters subtly at first, her voice rich and yet feather-light, drifting in like smoke behind his. The drums, courtesy of Adam Collins Torella, begin with a halting start-stop rhythm and an intermittent knock on a locked door, before building to a full-bodied surge as the track opens wide.
Force's violin is the emotional core here, pulling at literal heartstrings with each phrase. Tremolo pick guitar notes shimmer and shiver as tempo climbs, while the drums begin to roll and bounce with urgency. Then, a break. Intermittent tambourine clangs out like a distant warning bell, and the drums drop to a ceremonial, almost tribal pace. The violin returns with its mournful refrain. Joshua shifts into near-spoken storytelling cadence, drawing the listener to a narrative space. Catherine's voice rises like an echo, disembodied, but present. It's a ghost in the wilderness. No Arrow is another standout, a slow, smoky shuffle that feels like a cabaret waltz. As Catherine takes the lead, you can almost hear her swaying side to side at the microphone, locked in a slow dance with the jazzy, unhurried drums. Tim Gotch's restless bass adds a subtle, pulsing tension beneath gently strummed guitar and soft, moaning violin lines.
The arrangement is punctuated by thrilling full stops, dramatic pauses, and intentional restarts that let each silence breathe as much as each note. When Joshua enters for the second half, his voice brings a husky, deliberate weight, a grounded counterpoint to Catherine's earlier delivery, which flows light but rich, like an unbroken stream of dark syrup. The contrast between them isn't jarring, it's deeply complementary, like dusk settling over water. Together they create a mood of quiet intensity, of longing without desperation. Let's hear a little of this as No Arrow.
The walls of the flame, while the dark desert dreams the fire and the heat of your breath. With the night in your arms, the light in your body, you will shine.
Meanwhile, Brittle unfolds with elongated violin sighs that drift over guitar strums, rippling like dappled sunlight on a forest floor. Joshua's vocals take on a hypnotic quality, a smooth, rapid-fire delivery that draws the ear with its urgency. Glitchy electronic blips bubble beneath the surface, adding an unexpected layer of intrigue. The pace slows momentarily as Catherine joins in to briefly shape the piece into a duet. Then, with a shimmer of cymbals like a signal from above, the track lifts from a saunter to a trot, the drums picking up into a rhythmic gallop, hoof strikes on the dusky ground, near chaos by track's close. My favorites are in a dead heat, Like Wolves and Her Wilderness. In Like Wolves, the bass is pure seduction, bumping side to side like a burlesque dancer's hips. Joshua's delivery is rich and sugary like melted chocolate, smooth, decadent, and full of dark flavor. Soft coos float around him, adding an ethereal layer that feels both intimate and otherworldly. Catherine seems to drift in sporadically, often at the ends of lines and an echo, an afterthought, a ghost in the machine.
Midway, the violin picks up its own melody, later mirrored by the guitar. The drums stay tap light, building into a sudden pound like a sneak attack, then receding again into quiet restraint. It's hypnotic, sensual, and a little dangerous. In the epic Her Wilderness, slow guitar notes fall one by one like raindrops. Then a maraca or cabasa introduces the urgent texture of a rattlesnake shake, while a banjo plunks in unexpectedly, giving the track a sense of movement, a drone camera sweeping over a vast, wild landscape. There are eerie interludes of scattered banjo notes, as if someone is tuning up in the shadows, while layers of whispered voices rise like unseen spirits in a dream. After one of these spectral passages, the violin begins to keen softly, and the drumsticks land with slow gravity, a trudge through sand, each step deliberate. Then, after the second trip into this realm of whispers and disjointed melody, the track suddenly gains traction and surges forward. The drums awaken, the momentum builds, only to slow again and return to its wandering, soul-searching mode. Near-spoken vocals are layered like a congregation, murmuring a collective prayer, unified but indistinct, floating over bowed violin and soft-plucked guitar. It feels like a pilgrimage through memory and myth.
New Wilderness Gospel isn't music for your next workout or cocktail party. It's a deliberate step away from the noise, into a liminal space where time bends and meaning lingers. Lux Interna doesn't hand out easy answers or tidy resolutions. This album feels handcrafted, carved from wood, bone, and old memory, steeped in American Gothic, but stretched wide with cinematic scope. For those willing to sit within its shadows, New Wilderness Gospel offers a deeply immersive experience, part prayer, part reckoning, part dream. And while I may come from the realm of metal and distortion, what I found here hit just as hard, a different kind of heaviness, the kind that comes from a rain-soaked cabin, a soul-searching pilgrimage to the wilderness of self. Let's play a clip. This is Her Wilderness.
Shine like tea, birch gleam, bright as bone. Wounded eyes, the dark pine time.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.